Have you ever felt like you are living everyone's life except your own? You say yes to everyone else, but you are secretly saying no to yourself. You think you are being kind, but in reality, you are just becoming a doormat for others to step on. Your kindness has become a cage, and if you don't learn the power of one simple word, that cage will eventually break you. Today, we are going to learn why your kindness might actually be killing you, and how to finally reclaim your peace. Deep in a lush, green forest, there lived a young deer. Among all the creatures of the woods, this deer was known as the most helpful. He had a heart that knew no bounds, or so he thought. If the squirrels needed help moving their winter stores, the deer was there to carry the load. If the birds needed a high vantage point to watch for predators, the deer would stand still for hours, acting as their lookout. He never said no. He believed that by being the one everyone could count on, he would be valued. He thought that if he gave enough of himself, he would finally feel like he belonged, but as the seasons changed, a quiet and painful truth began to emerge. While the other animals in the forest grew strong and well-rested because of the deer's help, the deer himself was falling apart. His once strong legs grew shaky from exhaustion. His coat, which used to shine under the sun, became dull and thin. He spent so much time solving the problems of others that he had no time to find the best grass for himself or to rest by the cool stream. He was always running, always giving, and always tired. One evening, as the first chill of winter touched the air, the deer realized he was starving. He turned to the group of animals he had helped all summer, hoping for a bit of shared warmth or a hidden patch of clover. But the squirrels were too busy in their nests, and the birds flew away to warmer lands without a second glance. The very creatures who had relied on his yes for months were nowhere to be found when he finally needed help. In that moment of cold silence, a bitter realization hit him. He wasn't their friend, he was their tool. He had burned all his energy to keep them comfortable, and now he was left shivering alone in the dark, desperate for answers. The deer made the long trek up the mountain to find the great silverback. The silverback was an old, wise gorilla who lived in a quiet stone clearing, watching the world from above. When the deer finally reached him, he collapsed at the gorilla's feet. "Master," the deer whispered, "I have been kind to everyone. I have given my strength until I have none left. Why am I the one who is suffering? Why did they leave me the moment I stopped being useful?" The great silverback did not move for a long time. Finally, he gestured for the deer to follow him to a small, hidden path behind the clearing. There, protected from the wind, grew a single bush of wild, glowing berries. They were the most beautiful fruits in the entire forest, smelling of honey and summer rain. But as the deer stepped forward to eat, he saw the defense. The bush was covered in long, black, needle-sharp thorns. "Do you see these thorns?" the silverback asked. "Do they make the berries less sweet?" The deer replied, "No, master. They are scary to look at, but the fruit is still beautiful." The gorilla nodded slowly. The bush is a giver. It provides life and sweetness to the world. But the bush is not a fool. It knows that without these thorns, the greedy would strip it bare in a single day. It would be trampled and destroyed before it could ever bloom again. The thorns are not there to be mean, they are there to ensure the bush survives so it can keep being a provider. Your problem is not your kindness. Your problem is that you have no thorns. You have allowed the world to pluck your spirit until you are empty. A creature without boundaries is not a saint. They are a victim. If your yes comes from a place of fear instead of a place of strength, it is worth nothing. The deer stood in silence as the truth washed over him. He had mistaken a lack of boundaries for a surplus of kindness. He stayed on the mountain for a time, learning the art of the thorn. He learned that saying no wasn't about being angry or cruel, it was about being honest. He learned that his energy was a sacred gift, and it was his responsibility to decide who was worthy of it. When the deer finally returned to the valley, he was different. His head was held high, and his eyes were clear. It wasn't long before a fox approached him, asking the deer to lead him to a hidden water hole miles away. In the past, the deer would have ignored his own thirst to help the fox. This time, he looked the fox in the eye and said firmly, "No. I must tend to my own path today. I cannot go with you." The fox was stunned. He grew angry, calling the deer selfish and ungrateful. He tried to make the deer feel guilty, but the deer simply walked away. Slowly, the atmosphere around the deer began to change. The animals who only wanted to use him stopped coming around. They realized their tricks no longer worked. But a strange thing happened. The animals who truly respected life began to treat the deer with a new kind of dignity. They didn't ask for favors, they offered companionship. Because the deer had learned to say no to the wrong things. He finally had the space to say yes to the right things. He fixed his own life, found the best grazing lands, and his strength returned tenfold. He was still the same kind deer, but now he had thorns. He was no longer a doormat, he was a master of his own peace. If you are watching this right now, I want you to look at your own life. Are you the deer with no thorns? Are you exhausted because you are carrying the weight of people who wouldn't even lift a finger for you? You must understand that being a good person does not mean you have to sacrifice your soul. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to have boundaries. You are allowed to put your own peace first. In fact, if you don't, you will eventually have nothing left to give to the people who actually matter. If this story hit home for you, it is time to start growing your own thorns. Don't let the fear of what others think keep you in a cage of yes. You are the guardian of your own light. If you are ready to stop being a doormat and start reclaiming your life, I want you to type, "I am the rose," in the comments. Let it be a sign that you are choosing yourself today. We read every comment, and we are here to support your journey toward inner strength. If this video gave you the courage you needed, please hit the like button and share it with a friend who is giving too much. And if you want to join us every week for more stories that clear the mind and heal the heart, make sure to subscribe to Wisdom Path Tale. Your journey to peace starts with a single word. Thank you for watching.